Hello. Spring is coming, sunshine is here, back into nature. Last time I was talking a little bit about that it's not about changing the world, but first and foremost to change myself. Today I would like to talk a little bit about how you can go about this to change your world. Basically, there are three steps. Usually it is said, for instance, to go from pleasure to passion to purpose. Or, as I prefer to say, to go from having to doing to being. What do I mean? Having is, like most people believe, if I have stuff or relationships, then I will be happy. Some people move further to doing something meaningful, hopefully. And that's the Viktor Frankl approach. Few people even move further than this, to being. Simply being in the now. Not be driven by something which has happened to us in the past, not to be concerned about what other people are saying or thinking about us in the present, and not to be driven by fears about the future. Being in the now. Now, how can we get there? Viktor Frankl was always saying that we tend to measure our life on a line, on a success line, from 0 to 100%. 0 is failure and 100% is success. The question is, how do most people measure their success? I'm afraid most people measure the success in material terms. That is, money, cars, house, holidays, you name it. And that's perfectly okay, provided we do not forget, but keep in mind that there's another axis. An axis which goes all the way from fulfillment down to depression. And the question we should ask ourselves is, in which one of the four quadrants are we? I hope you will agree if I claim, like Frankl did, the nicest thing would be to be in number one, upper right quadrant. Outside success, inner fulfillment. I think you will also agree if I claim the last thing we want is number four, neither nor. Number three, upper left side, inner fulfillment, outside poor. This is what Frankl called the monks in Himalaya. It's not our culture. We shouldn't imitate it, maybe learn a little bit from it, but not copy it. But the sad thing is that in our culture, most people are number two. Outside, everything looks perfect, but inside, it's the big black hole. And then, to make things even worse, try to compensate a minus on the depression axis with a more on the success axis. More money, more cars, bigger house, and so on. And completely forget that in reality you would have to try to find a balance between these two axes, an individual, personal balance. And then of course the question comes up, how to get there? And then Frankl was always saying we should consider 2 plus 4 steps. The two obvious steps are how and what. How is, for instance, how can I learn a language? How can I develop a product? How can I ... and you fill in the blanks. What are my goals? And this is where most people stop. So many people come to me and say, Dieter, I've been doing this in my life, been doing that in my life, trying this, trying that, crisscrossing, zigzagging around, maybe even been successful in material terms for a short period of time, but then they come and say, something is missing. There's still an inner black hole. Why? And then I'm saying, exactly because of what you just said. Because you probably, most likely, have not found an answer to the question, why are you really here on this planet in non-material terms? And then people say, sounds logic, Dieter, sounds good, help me to define my why. And then I'm always saying, okay, but we don't start with your why. We first have to go a little bit deeper. We first have to go into the subconscious and unconscious to see if there are any blind spots, fears, blocks or concerns, or maybe even emotional wounds from the childhood which make it difficult or almost impossible to define our real why, or even more important, to have access to our own inner wisdom. Because I firmly believe that deep down we have all the answers we need. It's simply we have never learned how to access this inner wisdom. Because in school we learn facts and figures, we learn Paris is the capital of France and 2 plus 2 is 4, but we never learn to access this inner wisdom. So the first step is to go to the subconscious to see what is maybe holding us back, to access our inner wisdom, to move from knowledge to wisdom. And then maybe it will be possible to move to the third level, to open up, to awaken how to be in the now. Because it's nothing we have to look for. It's nothing we have to try to achieve. It is more or less simple to allow ourselves to become aware how to be able to live in the now, not driven by any external factors, to be able to live a fulfilling and meaningful life we love. And next month I will show you how you can do this in practical steps. First and foremost, to become aware of inner blocks and how to deal with them. See you then.